Hello there my music lovers, I'm Josh from Audiophile Heaven, and today we are having a look at the headphones Edition XS from HIFIMAN. This is a pair of headphones that imbues their original Edition X with both the Neo Super Nano diaphragm and also the stealth magnets as we've seen on Aria Stealth. They are also priced at a very pocket friendly price of just $500 US, so let's get down to the unboxing. The headphones are actually not inside the package because I have been listening to them and they are right here. We also have one cable which is 3.5mm to two 3.5mm jacks. It is one of the most common cables found in the audio world. They also come with an adapter to 6.3mm for larger amplifiers, and given their very low SPL you will need a large desktop amplifier for the Edition XS. This is the headphone you have been dreaming of, and I'm not even joking. At $500 US, the Edition XS is one of the highest price performance ratio headphones that exists out there. They have this headband, which is the same as we've seen on HIFIMAN Deva Pro and HIFIMAN Deva. It has lateral swivel, which is new. The HIFIMAN Ananda did not have lateral swivel, and the original Edition X did not have so much lateral swivel either. They also have a very comfortable fit inside the headband with a very thick padding, as you can see. The headband adjusting mechanism works very well regardless of your head's shape and size, and they sit quite nicely on my head. They have pretty much the same aesthetic as both HIFIMAN Ananda, HIFIMAN Aria Stealth, and all of the other HIFIMAN headphones that use this ear cuff. This is not an issue though, because I like the aesthetic and they work quite well for me. The overall fit and ergonomics of the Edition XS has been improved greatly over the previous releases, because now they are not only lightweight, but they have those large ear cups and ear pads that will fit any ear inside. You can barely feel them on your head because the weight is very evenly distributed across the headband and the ear pads. They pretty much sit quite perfectly on my head. I really love the fit of the new Edition XS. They are better than Ananda, and I can totally recommend them much more than I recommended the Ananda for their fit. If you remember my video about the HIFIMAN Ananda, I did have some bits to complain about their fit, but yeah, the Edition XS is perfect. This lateral swivel is just nice to have. The cable is the basic HIFIMAN cable, which is 3.5 to two 3.5mm jacks. It is a very good cable as far as the ergonomics and basic sound goes. It sounds quite good. It also is long enough, but if it has one disadvantage, it is that it has only a single-ended jack, and that ain't going to cut it with the Edition XS, because this is a very hard to drive headphone. And although they do have a very low overall impedance of just 18 ohms, they do have a very low SPL or efficiency, which is a 92 decibels efficiency. This means that they will be extremely hard to drive and that most of the portables will struggle with them, which means even more that you will need either a balanced 4.4mm cable or you will need to go to desktop amplifiers instead from the start. For example, I had a very good experience driving the Edition XS with the Violet HPA 340, but I did not have such a great time trying to drive them out of most portables. Most portable music players just do not have enough driving power for the Edition XS, and they will start clipping towards the end of the volume. So the higher you go, the more you'll hear clipping, or you will feel that the sound is uncontrolled and that the sound lacks the overall substance and overall definition that it typically has with other headphones. This means that this is a headphone with a very low price but needs a ton of power, and I have said the same thing about other headphones in the $500 US price range, which means that some headphone manufacturers expect you to invest quite a bit in the headphone amplifier when you purchase one of those. For example, I can recommend the Rebel amp, which is priced at $500 US for a headphone amplifier, and that is going to be an excellent pairing for the Edition XS. I have tested the pairing together and it is fully able to drive them and to give them a beautiful sound. Speaking of the sound of the Edition XS is superb. This is one of those headphones that has a superb overall sound, very musical, also very relaxing and mid-centric kinda, which is new for HIFIMAN. They basically focus most of their energy and most of their resolution on the mid-range, which gives them a very beautiful and natural sound. They have a more forward mid-range, so the voices are louder than the bass and the treble, but the treble has an excellent extension up to the highest octaves, while the bass tends to be quite neutral in presentation. Regardless of the source I've been using, the bass is just quite neutral. This means that there is not going to be a ton of bass for those who are bass heads or for those who want a more heavy presentation. There is not a ton of thickness in the presentation, and headphones like HIFIMAN and Ananda are quite a bit thicker and quite a bit heavier sounding with more bottom end and more impact in the bass. But the mid-range of the Edition XS is much more musical, better rounded and more colorful than the mid-range of the HIFIMAN Ananda, and it is pretty much in line with the mid-range of the HIFIMAN Araya Stealth. They are very close to each other, which is interesting because this one costs less than a third of the price of the Araya Stealth. HIFIMAN has this unique technology which is named the Stealth Magnet. The Stealth Magnets are basically the way the magnets are designed so that they do not reflect back the sonic waves that they are pushing into the headphone. Basically, they are very transparent and you can hear this in the sound. I remember not talking enough about the Stealth Magnets in my HIFIMAN Araya Stealth review, but with a headphone like the Edition XS, you always feel like you are not wearing headphones. Not only they are very light and very comfortable, they do not isolate at all from the outside noise. You will hear everything just as natural as if you were not wearing them. So there is absolutely no difference while wearing them, like 2 decibels or 5 decibels of passive noise isolation at most, which is extremely low. But they have this beautiful transparent sound. It's like listening to speakers, but not to any speakers. It's like listening to a pair of high-end speakers like the NHT C3 I have in the back. They are just so natural, so effortless, so relaxed, and at the same time so detailed. I could hear details in music that I typically don't hear even with expensive headphones. So they really have a way of presenting detail that is really enjoyable. The HIFIMAN Edition XS is perfect for jazz, for pop, for rock, for acoustic music, for classical music. They pair well with pretty much any single music style as long as you don't mind them having a very neutral bass, so its very line is neutral. The bass has much less presence than the mid-range and the treble, and this is driving them from pretty much all of the sources I have available. They just do not like being pushed in the bass region. Also, they do not like being pushed in the volume. They prefer you listening to them at a medium to medium high volume and quiet volumes too, but they do not play so well at the highest volumes available. They tend to not sound so great when you push the volumes all the way up, and that is something to take into account. For example, the HIFIMAN Araya Stealth can handle extremely high volumes much better than the new Edition XS. But for $500 you have to wonder, you really have to stop and wonder, what are you paying for in the HIFIMAN Edition XS and why are you looking for it? I think that this will be one of the best selling headphones ever created, and you can quote me on this. But this headphone has the perfect comfort that the larger HIFIMAN headphones have, like the Ananda and the Araya Stealth, but at the same time they have better overall ergonomics because of the new headband, or rather the headband used from the Deva Pro. They also have a mid-range that can compete with the Araya Stealth, which is surprising to me. It is absolutely surprising. They play a ton of detail, they have a very natural and great extension in the treble. They basically can reveal sounds that are played at 14 to 15 kilohertz, which is beyond what most people can actually hear. They can play cymbal crash as well. They just don't really roll off. They just have a slightly lower amount of treble than they have of the mid-range and a slightly lower amount of bass, which means that the end sound is going to be quite enjoyable with all musical styles. The HIFIMAN Edition XS is enjoyable. They're delightful. They are rich in the mid-range. They are colorful and they are vivid. They are really fun to listen to. They tend to make all music sweeter, slightly warmer, but not thicker and wider. The presentation of the Edition XS has one of the widest sound stages I have ever heard in a headphone. And they do not rely so much on the source to sound wide as they sound wide, but they don't sound scattered. They just sound wide. They just have this very holographic feeling to their sound without actually sounding scattered or lost. The sounds are not lost. They have excellent instrument separation and excellent overall definition. So they are a very recommended headphone to you, my friends. I really hope that they will bring you as much joy as they brought to me while reviewing them and while listening to them. I have already completed a full written review on them because I'm trying to nowadays complete the full written review on products before making the video. That way I can include some information in the video that I would otherwise have missed because I was not using them enough. One of the things I would recommend for the HIFIMAN Edition XS is an aftermarket cable like this one. This is a very custom made cable. I don't have a link for them because it was made by a friend who doesn't really make any more of those, or they could, but they do not make it commercially. At any rate, I am grateful for having this cable because I was able to test the Edition XS with some of the portables I have, like the Lotopo 6000, the Abeso DX300 and the Astellenkiern CP2000T and SA180. All of those are able to drive the Edition XS, but they just have better overall control and better overall body, as well as a better bass from a desktop amplifier. For example, using the Cyrus One Cast, which I'm still using as my main media center in my system, will provide a better overall definition and control for the Edition XS. I hope that today's video has been enjoyable to watch. I hope you are enjoying your time at Audiophile Heaven. I hope you will consider subscribing to Audiophile Heaven. Also leave a like on this video for more content and to get more recommendation for audio reviews or videos made by me. I do hope that you have the loveliest of weeks in there, and I hope we'll see each other really soon. Bye bye!